For those of you that are new here, I know Wolf mentioned it, but I'll just say it one more time because it can be a little confusing. And it's a little, it's not typical when you think of a church. So we have these community Sundays, and then sermon Sundays, and these are every other week. Sermon Sundays are just like they sound, just like you expect when you go to church. Is a teaching. We're currently going through 2 Corinthians. We're going through the Bible book by book, chapter by chapter, verse by verse. And so this next Sunday will be in 2 Corinthians 3. And so I'll be teaching on 2 Corinthians 3. And then these community Sundays, the reason we have these community Sundays is because we are called not only to love God, of course, love God with all of our hearts, our minds, our soul, our strength, our everything that we have, but we are also called, equally so, he says, equally so, to love one another as ourselves. And as it's, if we don't know each other, we can't love each other. Because this idea of, it's not even an idea, this verb, this action, this loving one another is to truly love one another. It's more than just saying so. This bears fruit when you truly love one another. And that's what we're looking for here on our Community Sundays. Opportunities for us to connect as a community so that we can actively love one another, be there to pray, encourage, support, whatever it is that each other need. While we're waiting for them to make sure that world is working for worship time today, another wonderful opportunity that someone had mentioned. It's something we've been doing in the past, but I want to talk about it more and more because it's another great way to get everyone to connect with each other outside of the Sunday service. So I don't know if you've noticed, but in our Discord server, there's something called community channels. Community channels we created, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago, specifically for people to be able to post in there something that they would like to host. Something that interests them. It could be like a Bible study or a time of going and spending time in worship here in VR chat. It could also be games and puzzles and movie days or what have you. Any way we connect as Christians is that's valuable time spent. So encourage you all to get in there, use these community channels, post something that you're interested in so that we can get a group of people to get and engage, and form these connections and friendships in that way. So hopefully I'll see some new community channels spawning. There was, what was the other? Because this is really important. I know I talked about it a couple of weeks ago, but hopefully most of us don't even think about it because hopefully it's not a problem for most of us. But we can take it for granted that we have someone in our lives that is a good friend or family member, someone who is a Christian specifically, that they can encourage you in your faith. Hopefully everybody here has that person, but we cannot take it for granted that everybody does, because some people do not. Some people are struggling in that respect. And so it really is like, hopefully you're motivated in your hearts, this wonderful heart that Jesus is creating in each of us. Hopefully our hearts are motivated to connect with one another just for that purpose, just because we know there are people out here who don't have someone who can encourage them in their faith, someone they can trust to be honest when they're struggling. And that's the type of thing we're trying to encourage in Community Sundays. So it's good. They're taking a little bit of time. That sounds like it must be working to some degree. So bear with me as we keep waiting. Do we have other, like, while we're chit chatting here, waiting for the worship world, other ideas of things that you would like to experience, things that you believe can help us connect as a community on Community Sundays? I'd love you to just come up here and share it with the group.
Yeah, true, actually, true.
No, Alice is in the house. I see that. Alice is in the palace. Welcome, Alice.
For those joining us on Twitch, be aware that if they are
I'm glad
successful in taking us to a world
that's
where
right. I got my photo. I still have to submit
singing
though
and
after
playing
this
music,
service
we
for
will have to
Retcon.
end the stream at that point for copyright reasons. But I don't know
Alice
if
is
that's
in
going
the
to happen or not.
palace.
So
That's
we'll
her
stick
name
around and
in
see what's
another
happening.
place. So Heat's back, Alice. Heat's back. So yeah, how there's quite a few new people. Why don't we kind of gather around while we're waiting on this worship world? And if we have anyone who would like to just, I'm going to hop down off the stage so I can be down here with all you. And anyone who'd like to just share a quick something about themselves. Anyone who's hoping to connect with someone else in church, just speak up and say a little something about yourselves. And then I encourage people who are also hoping to connect. Yeah, come on up.
Oh shit, I'm really bad for that.
And then hopefully, as people are sharing a little bit about themselves today, if you are someone who really truly does want to reach out and make sure everybody has someone, you can reach out in Discord and to make these connections. Go for it. What would you like to tell us about you?
I wonder why. Holy fuck.
Galixo for okay, that's enough. Pardon me, that was no, it's not funny. At all.
Bro, that shit was not funny. I suggest you
No.
retire. That shit was not funny, bro.
I do too.
That shit was
Okay.
not
So,
funny.
Phantom, who has
That
is
shit was
it Wolf that
not
has this
funny.
world? Wolf, will you do me a
Like,
favor?
nobody was laughing. I'm
I can
sorry.
kick people
I'm
too.
just gonna let you know.
Okay.
Retire.
Oh no, it's so hot.
I'm not laughing.
Okay.
I have the straightest face in the world.
There we go. Kick user. And so this is permanent now. There's been plenty of other issues in the past. Oh. Okay. Okay. So we'll figure out a way collectively, all of the mods know this now, and we're going to work on a way to do it to actually make permanent kicking.
Hello.
Victor, good to see you. But so that would be a permanent
permanent kick
ban.
is a ban.
When?
Yeah, so the ban.
2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Do you mind?
So
Do you
all
mind
of
if I do an introduction?
Yeah, please do. Would love to hear from you, Heat. Thank you.
She was talking
Hey everybody. I'm he. My real name's Isaiah. I'm 14 years old, and I reside in New Jersey. Um, I've been affiliated with VR Church for quite a while now, like half a year, I'm pretty sure. And I only recently got to become one of the volunteers
in the world.
a couple months ago. Probably in probably in March. Yeah, I got to become a volunteer in March, which is really cool.
Being so kind to share of himself. No, I know it's not you.
Yeah,
I know trust me,
it's been I've had really great experiences with these guys. They're really
I'm sorry for
friendly,
this experience,
and they've
any
made
more,
my
and
day
then
a
next will be
whole
a
bunch
kick,
of
and any
times.
more kicks will have to be permanent because we've had lots of warnings. I'm sorry, Heat. Very sorry for the interruption.
It's fine.
I'm listening.
Can I introduce myself?
Oh, would you like to come share something with introduce
Yeah.
yourself? Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
come right up.
With a rage bait bio.
Wait, what do I say?
Grew up
What do I
with
say?
Anything.
What do I say?
No, it's okay. It's okay. Just whatever you think.
Oh,
Like,
oh.
hi, I'm so and so. I like fishing and
Okay.
or whatever. Anything you would like the people to know about you. Okay.
I keep swearing. I'm not supposed to do that.
My name's Oliver, and I like to skateboard.
That's fine.
And I live in New York, so yeah.
Oh. How long have you been skateboarding?
Since I was like 5.
Oh my gosh, so you just like, okay, because my next question is, it always seemed like one of those things that's so hard to learn because the learning is so painful. Like you have to mess up in order to learn, and
Yeah.
then how do you get over
Yeah.
that? But if you grew up doing it, you've just
Yeah,
always.
I grew up doing it.
Wow.
So, yeah,
That's really cool.
cool.
I like it. I would be broken in a heap in a mere minutes. I could never learn. All right. If anyone else would like to come up and share while we're waiting to hopefully get over and do some words of music. Aaron, was that you? No? No. You were coming forward like you might. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, I will.
So I'm curious because this is something we've been talking about a lot is the back up on stage. Thank you. Curious because this is something we've been kind of talking about a lot. Is the like it doesn't have to be, but it is nice when possible to have this like correlation between the physical church and the digital church. I'm just curious out of a show of hands. First, I'm going to ask 3 questions. Do you go only to digital church, and then do you go? Well, I guess I can't ask. Do you only go to physical church because well you're here, so that can't be true, right? So I caught myself before I made complete fool. But so who I'm going to ask who has both a physical and a digital church, who has only a digital church, and then after we ask that, I'm going to ask those that are comfortable sharing why, whatever your situation is the situation. So first, who goes to both a physical and a digital church? Yeah. There's a good probably around 50%, maybe somewhere like that. And then everybody else is obviously digital only because it's impossible to be physical only if you're in this space. Would anybody like to share? So maybe someone who doesn't go to a physical church. Any particular stumbling blocks you'd like to share that you've encountered as to why? And this isn't a shame. I don't believe you have to go to a physical building has no power. It is God, and He is with us wherever we are. So I'm not asking this question as in, why don't you go to physical church? That's not what I'm saying. I'm curious, like the situations. Anyone? No? Yeah. Oh, yeah, R2D2.
I can't go up.
Okay, why
So
not?
for
Let me
me,
make it so I can hear you. I don't hear
It's
you, so
fine.
I'm going to fix that. It shows your.
I'm chill.
I show that you're
Chill.
unmuted on my end, but it still shows you're muted.
You're not. You're not dragging me in my seat.
it's the hell headset thing.
I will
For me,
unmute and.
yeah, for me, as I'm actually am a member of
Everyone
the
is watching.
LDS Church, but with their times, I can't go because of the whole work situation. So this is the only option I have at this point.
Okay, very cool. It's a time thing. Yes. So the options you have in the physical space are not available for you. But did you like to share, Annette?
Yeah, I've been to physical church
yeah.
before. I've been to we run like coffee mornings and things like that, community groups at our local church. So I go to those because I think they're quite a good way of meeting people. You get to communicate with people more at those groups than you would if you were sitting in a service. So for me, I prefer that because I think it makes connection with people more.
Yes. I love that you share that because that is like the reason we're doing the community Sunday alternating with the sermon Sunday. Because yes, there is wonderful knowledge to be gleaned from sermons. Even as me, when I'm teaching them, I learn so much every time I prepare them. So it's like really, there's wonderful value in the sermon, of course, but there's so much value in the connection that we make with each other. Hence, our creating that space to do community Sunday, because everybody won't like or have the ability to get out in the middle of the week to maybe some of the coffee talk things. But if they're here already, that they clearly have this time. And so with community Sunday, we kind of blend all of that into the one Sunday. And I love that this is working well for you.
Yeah,
That's
great.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you
Community,
for
I think,
sharing,
is
Annette.
important.
It so is. It's so important. I think it's more important than we realize. Did I have someone else who would like to share? Oh, Wildstar's returned to us. That sounds really weird. Here she is. Wildstar, what'd you find out?
So we went to 3 different karaoke modes that I know of, and Shy Breezy's on Quest 2, and he's having problems. Like his settings, Quest 2 beer chat settings, or it doesn't have the settings like the world settings.
So basically,
like
they have an instruction poster that shows you with these settings, and they're supposed to be like the default settings for VR chat. But when I looked at it and I looked at the settings on my display, they're not completely different, but there are more options there. So either and I'm pretty sure I don't have an outdated system because I have to relog in every other week due to the fact that it's always updating. So I'm fairly certain I have the most updated version of VR chat, but at the same time, their settings look like outdated settings. And so we haven't found a karaoke bar yet that'll work for me, but we haven't tested it out with Wildstar. But the point being is that we're trying to find a karaoke bar that allows for everyone to use it. So
Yeah,
and maybe it's
it
just
has to
me.
be available for everyone.
Because there's like a allowed untrusted use URLs, and he said he can't see that in his Quest 2 settings, which on the beer chat.
It should be under comfort and
It's
safety.
very strange.
Under comfort and safe. So, do you guys
Yeah.
mind doing
Yeah,
a
he
favor
didn't see
after
that.
church? Do you mind if we after church so that we can just taking me to these worlds and I can favorite them, and then during the week I can try and figure out some of the solves. I'm on a
Sounds
Quest
good.
3, not a Quest 2, but I still am on standalone, so there might
Lucky.
be some. I know, I am. I'm very fortunate. Yeah.
I love
Yes, sir.
RJG, is this more of an appropriate outfit?
Yeah, that's for the safe mode. I am not in safe mode. Should I enable safe mode? Because when I do that, all the avatars disappear.
I think everybody can hear us.
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
No, it's not this.
Quite
No,
interesting.
are we getting it?
And I think he
You
crashed.
just need to
So-
open up the big menu.
Oh, is that Phantom crashing? No.
Oh, okay. So only avatar
Wait.
non-friends. Those are the avatars I can't see.
Yep, I can.
Hello.
Okay, I've deactivated safe mode.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
The only thing you don't want in the
Huh.
mirror is UI.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure that out later. I know. I feel like there was someone from this side of the room who wanted to share a little bit of insight into like
He's
no?
lying.
No, it's okay. You don't have to. No pressure. No pressure. Yeah, Shy Breezy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Do I need to come on stage or can I do it down here and everyone can hear me?
Jesus.
Sorry,
that was blasphemy.
because
My fault.
you have the
Take
megaphone. I would
centre
go
stage,
up. Just-
come on.
I would. Yeah, I'd go up because you have the
Okay,
megaphone.
let me log in first.
Oh, okay. He'll be right back. I thought you already had that situated. I'm sorry.
Because I'm beautiful.
Oh, what's
All
log
right,
in?
all
What's
right.
that?
Okay, so Shy Breezy's got something to share. Shy Breeze will be right back. Shy Breezy, if you are in need of prayer,
She is already a friend.
This is the person to go to. He is passionate about prayer. He's leading up our prayer team, both in Discord and in VR. So if after service you're in need of personal prayer, please reach out to Shy Breezy.
Okay, so can everyone hear me? Is everyone here? Okay. So today my testimonial is about loss, redemption, and what the Lord teaches us about love. So without going into too much detail, over the course of the past 3 years, I've been dealing with a humongous loss. And that's partially what drove me to come back to VR Church and just be around other people that believe in the Lord and the Lord's word, possibly, if for other reasons they're here, so that I can understand compassion, because I'm trying not to have negative thoughts and emotions towards other people, especially people that may have spited me. Because something I have noticed through studying the Lord's scripture, not just through Christian literature, but also through Catholic literature and just speaking with other open-minded religious people, is that one of the main credos of worshiping the Lord is you must remove all hate from your heart. And like Lena said, I recently started volunteering as a prayer minister to help others, and I went into the Discord and I would start reading people's prayers, and I started to realize that I'm not alone in the type of pain that I've been put through. And I gave a speech about maybe like 2 months ago. I did another one of these where I was just talking about believing in the Lord to find the power to live a better life by believing in the Lord. And something I've started to notice through paying attention to the prayers of others is that it's not just about living a good life. Part of your mission statement when you come to church, you're not just trying to figure out how to help yourself. You're trying to figure out how to help others, because one of the things God wants from us is to remove all hate. You know, I know it sounds like an impossible thing, and like, why would you want to remove hate? Hate, you know, I don't have the answers on all that. I do know that a good day versus a bad day has a lot to do with positive emotion versus negative emotion. And I know that no matter who you are, no matter where you're going in this world, you're always going to run into conflicts. You're going to run into people, and it doesn't matter how hard you try. Even when you feel like you've given up on hate, there are always going to be obstacles to remind you that you're human and you do have hate in your heart. And I was speaking with someone today where they felt like maybe someone else had done something to them and they had judged them wrong. And it doesn't necessarily matter what the rhyme or reason is for why we get put into these spaces where we are subjected to people we disagree with. But part of accepting the Lord into your life, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, is that you must remove hate from your heart. It doesn't matter what Lord you want to worship, what scriptures, etc. From a scientific standpoint, there is evidence to show that, you know, just removing negative emotion allows you to live a better life. So something that I actually made a conviction on as of yesterday is, especially the people in the past that have hurt me, I may not be able to do it tomorrow, but I must learn how to forgive these people. Because if you cannot learn how to forgive other people, you can't learn how to forgive yourself. And if you can't learn to forgive yourself, then in the eyes of the Lord, maybe you're just not doing what he wants from you. And this is something that I have to do a lot of soul searching on, a lot of reading on to figure out. And I'm on Discord. So if anyone has some words of advice for me, or if they just want to have a conversation about this, I would love to talk to them about it, because that's just the main principle here, is that we are here to learn about love, not hate. Yes, Colin. Did you have a question?
Yes.
Okay. Can we wait till I finish on my point? Just give me like 20 more seconds, and then I will be open to questions. Deal?
Sure. No problem.
Okay. So all I want to say is that as of yesterday, I am putting myself in a position where I refuse to know hate. It's a hard mission and it's not easy, and I'm not saying I'm going to succeed, But in my heart, I feel like it is the best position to take if you want to live a better life, not just through God's eyes, but in your own life. So Colin's up first. If anyone else has questions, you can talk to me now or talk to me after service. Go ahead, Colin.
I have 2 points I just want to make. Have you ever heard of the expression that hate is just frustrated love?
No, I have not.
Because if you're in love with a partner and you hate the fact that there's some friction between you, it's because you love that person that the frustration, the hate exists. So
exactly.
My first point is, if you want to learn to cope with a relationship, then it's better you stop loving them so that you don't get frustrated. That may be kind of counter. That may be kind of counterproductive to what you were trying to say.
So yeah.
But
so when you say stop loving them, do you mean like just like an emotional attachment love, kind of like how you love your wife different than you love a friend, sort of thing, where it's like you still want to love and support them in the manner of understanding where they're coming from, but you also want to give up on loving them as if they were the one true partner for you. It's like love them as a friend, not as a partner, sort of thing, or just giving up on love with them completely. Oh, okay.
Because if I'm buying into what you're saying, then I would have to say, I've been married to this person for 10 years, and I hate the fact that we argue so much. And the only way you can get around that frustration is to stop loving them, so that you're freeing your heart of all the hate. Because hate is frustrated love.
Yes. Autobot.
I do. No, I'm actually here for a visit, but I do need to say this. I've read the 10 Commandments in the Bible, and here's what I heard as well. Hate is essentially the same as murder, and those who hate his brother, is pretty much already a murderer.
Exactly. I've heard that before too. So yes, I agree with that.
I track everybody down.
Mm-hmm. The second point I would like to make that adds to that or builds on this is, you might try and forgive somebody who's been abusing you, but if all you're doing is giving them a second bullet to finish you off, I mean, hypothetically, as an analogy, then you're causing your own pain even further. The only thing you can do is to walk away from an abusive relationship if you end up hating them because they're abusing you. And forgiveness, well, somehow you have to learn to get over the hate and walk away.
Yeah, that's a bit like my situation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the way I feel about that is I was in a really abusive relationship, and I went through loads of emotions. I went through sadness. I went through hating the person. I went through obviously loving the person. I went through all these emotions, but in the end, when it finally ended, I felt nothing. And at that point, I felt free because I didn't hate them anymore. There was no hate there because hate takes energy, and there was no time to hate the person. In fact, I felt free. Once you get to that point where you don't feel an emotion, you don't hate them, you don't love them, you don't anything, you know that you are free.
Okay, so with that being said, Alina, you go. I'm sorry. I want others to speak as well. This isn't just about me. So anyone else that has something to say, please come up. But Alina, you go first.
No, that's a fantastic conversation. And I love how you said how you expressed how you felt free. There wasn't this love, this wasn't this hate. All there was is this absence of these things and a sense of freedom. So, because I think people get really confused by what it means to forgive a person. So, to forgive a person is not about allowing, say, someone who abuses you to continue to abuse you. That's not what forgiveness is for. Forgiveness is for the one doing the forgiving so that they may be free And that's exactly it. So that they may be free. So that the frustration and the hate and the anger and the pain, all the horrible pain, when someone has hurt you horribly over and over and over again, how much does that just kill you, even when they're not abusing you anymore? As long as you're harboring this, this response to the hurt that you've received, as long as you're harboring that, you may never see them for the rest of your life, but they can hurt you every single day. You may never see them again, but they can hurt you every day. And so this forgiveness is for our hearts. And with these new hearts that are free, we can love each other so much better with these free hearts.
I mean, I wonder whether the person that did what they did to me didn't love themselves. And that's where they need to find love for themselves, because to treat other people in the manner that they do, they need to find in their heart to love other people. And if they don't love themselves, they can't find that love. And I feel that when people treat other people badly, they need to look at themselves and find love in their own heart, really.
Absolutely.
You have to love yourself.
Abusers tend to make abusers because the abuser, because the abuse that they've gone through has, done that destruction in them. And so they turn around and that's all they know, and they are hurting and they haven't found forgiveness. And so they're just repeating that cycle.
Hate the person. Lots of people say to me, "Why do you not hate him from what he's done to you?" And I said, because I'm not free if I carry on hate, I'm not free. I'm free if I don't hate. And that's how I view my life, is I can move on with my life because hate takes energy.
It does.
I don't have the energy to hate someone. I don't think my life is hate. That's just how I am. I'm a people person. I like to get to know people. Haven't been on VR that long, and it opens up a whole world. I run in real life. I run community groups of people. I make cups of tea. I make people feel welcome in our community halls, in our churches, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And I think that's how it should be. And to be honest, even if the person who had been not very kind to me even turned up, I still wouldn't be horrible to them, because being horrible takes time and energy. It's much easier to be nice.
It is. It is. And God has called us to love regardless. Everybody can love people. And when I say love, that also it can be misunderstood. In the same way that the keep abusing me can be misunderstood, loving in the same way. You can genuinely care that someone is well, and not love them as in have them over for a cup of tea. Right. So in the same way. Anyway, I know poor Shy Breezy, but I just wanted to say that really was a wonderful way that you expressed that freedom, this freedom that you're finding forgiveness.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I feel that Annette Curtin, thank you very much. I needed to hear that, because, that's why I'm here saying this. I'm not telling people that I have the answers. I'm asking for the answers. And, I feel like this is a good group of people to help guide me. Colin, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, I just wanted to thank Annette for, I think, bringing my 2 points together very nicely. And
yes, thank you very much, Annette. I'm glad that you're able to come to service today.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have anything?
How often do you do these service?
Every Sunday we have a Discord. In the announcements they mentioned it. That's honestly one of the ways I found out about this is. Are you familiar with Discord?
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, and there's the website as well.
Right here. Here's the website.
Brilliant.
What?
I know it is. It's just if I.
Oh yes, I have to announce that. Thank you, Phantom. A quick announcement, and then back. And I'm so sorry, Shy Breezy. Yes. Okay. Usually it's every Sunday we're here. But a few times a year we have vacation, so all of our volunteers can take some much needed time off, and this is coming up. So this coming Sunday we'll have 2 Corinthians 3, and then starting immediately after service, we're taking a week a vacation. So the following Sunday, there will not be a service, and during the week, all of the midweek gatherings we have, those won't be happening either. Of course, everyone is always welcome to gather on your own. It just doesn't have to be a church led thing for us to gather, right? So we'll also post it in Discord if you want specific dates or want to reconfirm. So keep your eye out there. Thank you, Cybreezy.
Yes. Well, I'm done speaking. Unless anyone else has something to say, I'm gonna leave it up to the next person to come up. Anyone? Yes.
Armor guy might be saying something.
Your chance.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, Armor guy, are you trying to speak?
Wait,
You have something to say?
I got a
Yes,
question.
sir.
Is it like
Go for it.
Come up for what? No. He's not the armor. I'm not armor guy. I'm right here.
Oh, sorry.
So
Okay,
what do we come
what
up
is
for?
it you were gonna say?
What do we come up for? Like,
Okay.
Armor guy's typing.
Yeah, I'm watching for it too, for the message to come through.
I was asking, like, what do I do if I come on stage? Like,
Well, in order to come
Like,
on
what does that
stage, you
consist
need
of?
well, the stage is mostly just for announcements. It's like Alina said earlier, I help lead in prayer. I'm part of the prayer group. So every once in a while on a
okay.
Sunday when church starts, I will be given privilege so I can jump
Sorry,
on the
Breezy.
stage to use the microphone. Yes.
Yeah, they're asking.
Armor guy said for years they were consumed by hatred, used to be so insane, and even got themselves banned from one community that they used to be good friends with.
Yeah. And that's part of growing though. It's just, think about this is the best example I can always come up with because it like everyone goes through this. Crying babies. When you're in a plane or at a restaurant or at church, you will hear crying babies. And before you understand why babies cry, we got to admit, you're going to get annoyed by that. It's like when we don't understand the emotions of others, we tend to get upset. But then when you start to actually research and understand why babies cry, it goes from love to a very more positive emotion of that's a beautiful thing because the baby isn't crying to annoy people. The baby's crying because it wants its mommy. And I don't know how that hits for certain people, but when I think about that, I'm like, oh, that's so cute. It's just like if you're on Facebook and you see, like, I'm addicted to cat videos. So the algorithm feeds me videos of mama cats adopting orphan cats or taking care of their other cats. And on a subconscious level, it just hits me in a way where it's just pure love. So that, crying babies is a good example because before you understand why the baby cries, you're going to get annoyed. But once you come to develop an understanding of the biological response to that, it goes from a feeling of hate to love. And that's why I come to church. I'm trying to understand why I was put here, why God gave me emotions, how can I handle these things, and I want to understand the type of love I see out of others that worship the Lord where they're happy. I'm sorry.
So,
Oh,
you're probably gonna share the same thing I was. Heat, yeah. Please.
oh yeah.
I was trying to share what
I
Armor
couldn't
was saying.
remember, so you can share it if you remembered it.
Oh, I was just because Armor here was still trying to speak with you, but is it even
I'm sorry.
possible to pull up the text that you have typed? I can try and remember to recap. You read it. Hope you remember. Okay, so Armor was saying how he Armor grew up with like abuse or something similar, that you had
Like
a
bullied.
very bullied, that's what it was. Thinking cruel environment, that was the wordage. That you grew up in a cruel environment and that you were bullied, and that the way
You
my
couldn't tolerate
understanding
it any
is this.
longer.
Yes, and tolerance was dropping over time because you can only, you're human. You can only take so much, right, before you break. But it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Armor, that yes, life of not just only because of the cruel environment that you were in, but life also got hard because of the hate that was in you, right? Because you lost your friends. They were your good friends, but the abuse that you received led you to act out because you're so angry and filled with so much hate that it actually affected people whom you cared about, and you lost these friends when you were kicked out of this group.
Armor, I feel you,
Multiply
man.
times through thought of taking. Oh, that's. May I ask? Just 'cause this is very important. Do you feel that way now, or is that something you struggled with as you were growing? So, Armor Guy struggled for years. Said that life was so cruel. Life was cruel, so much so that Armor Guy even contemplated
I've had those thoughts before.
ending it. It's very sad, but there's a lot of people do. This world is hard, but it's also so good. But this is one thing I wanted to say real quick. The Armor, because this applies, the Shy Breezy, to you. What Armor Guy was saying, how the same way that forgiveness is for the forgiver, for the well-being of the forgiver. In the same way, the Armor Guy was expressing how they reacted kind of in kind with what they're receiving. Obviously not the same. You weren't abusing. You weren't cruel to other people as you were treated cruelly. Not to that extent. But this caused you to act out in your own mean ways that got you kicked. And excuse me, in doing so, you lost these friends. And so you can see the same correlation, even though it's not fair, because it's not fair. Nobody should have to be treated cruelly. Nobody should have to be bullied. Nobody should have to be abused. It's not fair. It's horrible. But
Look, I get where you're coming from, dude.
Where God is saying to forgive and to love our enemies, the reason it's so important we know this is for the lover, the forgiver. Because when we don't, then we end up doing things that hurt us all the further, that make us lose our friends and our family. It really does. It just sucks. It sucks. And I can't begin to tell.
Why can people be cruel? Why can people be cruel though?
Why can they be cruel?
Because it's either they were they were bullied back then, or they just have like a really a bad mindset. Like if they bully people, they'll get attention, and they want attention. It's either
Because
that
I've
or
really
they've been
struggled with
bullied
the
from
concept of
past.
why people would be so awful to other people.
I know.
And why people act in that way.
Yeah.
I've
I
really
don't
struggled
think
with that in my life to understand that.
Yeah.
Well, something I can say, because my brother is my brother is a retired Army vet. He actually went to war when the U.S. invaded Iraq. My brother was part of the first unit that went in, and he saw some stuff over there that stuck with him. And nurse, so he continuously went to school and started studying just like the processes of the brain and all that. And in all reality, a lot of it is very internal. It's like mechanisms in our brain that we were built with that we can't control. It's not like we make a conscious choice to hate people. These are like actually built-in defenses into our system that it's kind of like a survival mechanic, where sometimes people believe, because of the way they're built, that attacking someone else is a means of survival. And that kind of goes along with the idea of Jesus on the cross, because Jesus went into his crucifixion knowing he was going to be crucified, and he did not want to be crucified. He went in fearing it. But at the same time, he knew that this is what had to happen. He knew that this was what God was willing him to do, so that he could save the people he loved. And so it's one of those basic necessity things where it's just like, whether we realize it or not, hate is actually built into our system. And you know,
Sit
I
over there.
I feel
Sit over
like
there.
God looked
I'll talk to
upon
you later.
that and he studied
Sit
it
over
and
there
he
real quick. I'll
realized
talk to
that
you later.
he may have, you
So,
know,
Ace,
not
still
thought that part through completely when he was building us, and so he's, you know, he put
I'm sorry, I
Jesus
didn't mean
on
to
this
giggle.
earth.
I'm
But
sorry.
it's
No,
like,
continue. I'm listening. I'm sorry.
yeah, it's kind of like he put Jesus on this earth to fix hate, because hate was built into us when God designed us. And you know, much like with Adam and Eve, you know, he warned them, do not eat of the fruit of knowledge, and they went and did it anyways. And so he had to. There was a reaction for their action, and so it's like hate is just something that we're born with. It's just like sin. We are born with sin, and we come to church and we study God and we worship Jesus, and we do all of this because whether we realize it or not internally, we are trying to figure out how to remove the negative aspects of our
Yeah.
design. We
I
are
suppose
trying
there's
to
no
build
such
ourselves.
person on this earth that could be 100% perfect. There's always going to be a
Exactly,
sin, or there's
exactly.
always going to be something, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, there's
What's
always
really
gonna be that
funny,
one rotten apple on the tree.
what's really funny is I didn't mean to laugh in the middle of that. It's just it's so
It's
funny
fine.
because it always happens. No. This always it always happens. Like there's always this time, whether it be from sermon
I'm listening,
to
armor guy.
conversation. Anyway, I digress. We had this same talk in Rec Room earlier today, just about an hour and a half ago, about hate. And that's what I was chuckling about, how interesting is how these discussions always tend to show up when you're having them. They're happening everywhere at the same time.
It's
But
almost
the
as if it was part of God's plan
Yeah.
all along, huh?
exactly. And so exactly. And so
We all
when we were
have
talking about this hate in
we all have
itself,
faults
it
in our
is
code, Ben,
not bad. Hating,
but
oh, I'm
somehow we'll
sorry.
be able
I
to
just
somehow we'll be able to fix them.
Can
Not
I add
wait
Colin, did you
a
have something you wanted
philosophical
to say?
point? Yeah, it's an observation or a psychological aspect that one can
I love
only
it.
exist. One can only exist because of the other. Hate and love
Yes.
are opposites. Good and bad are opposites. But if there was no bad, then we wouldn't actually need good either.
Exactly.
Conversely, yeah. So
It's kind
it
of like
almost generates it almost generates a polarized view of the world, and that applies
Yeah,
to
'cause
matter and antimatter. You know, Labour and Conservative in the UK, or it polarizes
that's why
people's thinking.
that's why I love the Matrix, because you know, it has a lot of religious principles built into the movie. If you study it and you know, there's the obvious stuff like Neo is Jesus Christ and all that, but it for
Or maybe
me,
simply
it kind of
figured
points out this
Anthony
idea
White.
of, like you said, that like, you know, we can't have good without evil, and part of the human condition, part of the human experience is learning to recognize that so we can live with it, and we don't have to look at it as hate. We look at it's almost as if like hate may be a warning
Yeah,
to
I
let us know,
understand.
hey.
Look, I
It's
can
like,
fully.
you know,
I'm
hey.
sorry to interrupt here, guys. I'm so sorry to interrupt here. So I've been trying to follow both the conversations. Just for me, I'm not gifted at that anymore. There used to be a day I could do that, but I'm losing track.
It's
So
fine.
two things. First of all, I would love to talk with you more. Can you send me a friend request in Discord? Because I just want to make sure you're okay. And I haven't been able to follow this conversation very well. Secondly, if you're comfortable, I'd love to just talk with you, make sure you're okay. Secondly, I was hoping, because I only could capture half of what Armor Guy was saying. And if you're okay with it, Armor Guy, Heat, can you kind of fill us in as a group so that we could give the same support that like people are giving to Shy, but to Armor Guy as well?
Yeah, no,
Yeah, so Armor.
I want to hear what they have to say.
I found
Alright,
you on
so
Discord.
like armor guy said that they the reasoning, I mean, the reason that they refused, they refuse so many times to not forgive their bullies is because they've been bullied one too many times and they hated it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Deliberately, yeah.
The
Yeah.
intention that they weren't just like willy nilly.
Thank you.
You happen to be in the line of fire, but they were like attacking you intentionally, deliberately attacking you.
Yeah, they would, and the worst part is that they faked their apology. You said they faked their apology, right?
How are you?
That just sucks, man. Like, look, someone faked their apology to me as well. Look.
But you know, there's one way of dealing with bullies. Get on with your life and build your life the best you can.
Yeah.
Because they are normally the type of people that won't do that in their lives.
One of my friends told me.
And if you are happy and you move on with your life in the happiest way you can, that is the best way of dealing with a bully.
That is
because they can't hurt you anymore.
Yeah,
I know a similar saying.
Yeah, so am I.
Because the more happy you are, the more unhappy they become. Because all I to do is make you unhappy. So by making yourself happy, what can they do to you? You're untouchable. That's how I dealt with the people that were doing it to me. I made myself, I got myself in a position where I surrounded myself with people that were kind and caring, and I built my life. And that person who was being the awful person towards me has ended up being more sad than they've ever been before. And had they not acted in the way they did, they could have come with me and had the happy experience in my life, but they didn't want to because they were being a bully.
And what Annette just said is crucial. Crucial. Surrounding yourself by people who love you, encourage you, who want your happiness.
Right.
That is key. I see it often where the people will stay in these circles where they are being bullied or mistreated, even if it's not bullying, even if it's just like everybody always ends up like leaving you last or always forgetting about you or whatever it is, that you're not getting the love and encouragement that we all deserve, right? God created us to love us, and he created us to love each other, so we should be receiving this love. Long story, I'll quit talking.
Yeah.
But it's so important that you surround yourself by people who are going to love you, who are going to want what is good for you.
Especially if you've got a partner, you can never say never have an argument. You can never say things will be 100% perfect. But if, more than 50% of your life is happy, then you're on to a winner, in my opinion.
Oh yes, life is hard. You're gonna not be happy sometimes because it's hard. But again, it's also so
there
good.
is
Every
going to be
time I say
difficult
it's hard,
times.
I
There
feel
is going to
bad
be ups
because
and downs. That's what life
it's gonna be
is.
hard times.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry for interrupting, but I heard something once I've heard something once going along the lines of, if your life was 100% perfect, it would be really boring and you wouldn't really have anything to do except just sit
You
around
wouldn't know
all
any
day.
different, would you? You wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I have a phrase that might summarize what that we've just been talking about for the last 2 minutes, and it's stuck in my mind for many years. Something somebody once said to me: the monks in Tibet are not any happier or sadder than normal people, but they've chosen a lifestyle where the peaks and troughs are something they can manage without being overwhelmed. So if I was trying to apply that to armor, I'd say find a life where the troughs, the abuse, are erased. Replace that with planting flowers or worshiping God. So you might have lost the low points that are pulling you down. You might even lose the extremes of the high points. But if at least your life is living between the highs and the lows that you can manage, then you found inner peace. The monks in Tibet are not any happier or sadder than other people. It's just that they've eradicated probably both the peaks and the troughs to something they can manage. I think that's the ultimate
there
message.
is the saying about the Carmelite nuns. They don't speak, so then they can't answer back. Can they?
Yeah, me too.
I'm only joking.
It's a little bit, a little bit extreme, but
Where's my
yeah,
little drum
the
set there?
sentiment's
We
similar.
actually had no, but we actually had Carmelite nuns in my family. Yeah, I mean that's a very hard life to choose, but their life is very simplified, as you say. You know, they get up
Yeah.
every day and they have a very set out kind of life. It simplifies it, and they don't have the same challenges that we would have. Yes, they don't have the happiness, but they also don't have the extreme sadness either. It is a middle ground life.
Isn't that
as
like
it's set out
speak
when
no
you have
evil?
your lunch, your dinner. Yeah.
Isn't that
So
like
is that a
speak no
bad
evil,
thing?
hear
No, not
no evil, see no
necessarily.
evil?
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, is it? It's just your life is set out how it is.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a bad thing at all. It even can be a good thing, particularly in when some of the alternatives are how our lives are filled with so much stuff that
Yeah.
it's in itself is too much for us. That middle road looks really pretty nice. When you're in the middle of a stuffed tornado, a to-do tornado, we do have a tendency to make our lives pretty full, don't we? Or at least
Hey,
US.
Lena, I just wanted to point out that it is past 6 o'clock, so we can keep this going.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, it's like we can keep having this conversation, but officially we should
I was
try and
literally
close
just about
service.
to say that. That's the funny
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's the thing. This time really flew thanks to all
Time
of
flies
you.
when you're having a good
Thanks to
time.
Yeah.
exactly. Thanks to you guys
Yeah.
seriously opening
Yeah.
up and
Thank you
sharing.
for letting
That
us
made all the
come. We'll
difference.
definitely come again.
May I do
Yeah,
close?
especially
Oh, wait, actually,
Annette and Colin, thank you both very much for coming here. You guys definitely helped me out a lot. I needed to hear that. So, and
Thank you. I've
everyone
never been
else that
before,
just
so
had their
I've very
2
enjoyed
cents,
it.
thank you very much.
can I do close prayers?
Thank you.
Well,
sorry?
I know
Thank you.
You gotta ask Shy Breezy because Shy Breezy is
That was interesting.
Oh,
Shy Breezy
do
is the
you mind if-
official prayer person.
do you mind if I do like
Who's-
closing prayers, or
Wanna
do you
go
want to do
somewhere
that?
else?
So many crazy things.
Yeah.
I will let you do closing prayers today. I have no issues with that.
Oh, they're going to do close of prayer. We'll stay
Alright,
for that
thank
and then
you.
we'll go.
Okay.
But so
right.
everyone, if you want to send your attention to Heat Savage real quick, we're gonna do a closing prayer for service, and then following that, I will be sticking around for personal prayer or just questions and anything like that. So without any further ado, Heat Savage, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Shy Breezy. All right. I would like us all to bow our heads for this prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this precious time that you've spent you spent with us. Get us to know about each other. I know we have trials and tribulations in our life, but we have you to thank for that, because if we didn't have trials and tribulations, we wouldn't like have exciting moments in our lives. We wouldn't have fun, and we have you to thank for that. And just know that if you aren't feeling well, like mentally, or you're having thoughts, if you want to end it all, just remember that people are here for you and you are not alone. And Heavenly Father, please aid everyone that is in need of desperate help. Thank you, and in your precious name, amen.